Hello, everybody. How is it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is August 28th, 2024, and this is the RambleCast. I'm your host, Cody Toombs, and with me I have Corbin Davenport.
Hello.
Austin, what up, nerd? Um, uh, it's been a week. Weather, at least here, has been everywhere between hot and cold. Um, I don't know about you.
It's been hot as hell.
Yeah, okay.
It's been, I think the feels like got to like 98 today. Um, and last week it was fall, so I'm very confused.
Yeah,
So
that sounds about right.
it do be hot outside, and I'm not enjoying it. I'd like that to stop now. My, I got my last power bill, and it was like $90. So I'd like that phase to be over, and for winter to start, where my power bill can be as low as like $15, maybe. I can get it pretty low, because I just really don't ever need heating. It's fine.
Hmm. Cool, cool. Let's see. Speaking of, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I just glanced back, and Nvidia is now down 8.6% for today. It's crazy when a company is announcing we're rich as can be. We're buying back stock, and the market is like, yeah, you suck. You're lame.
Yeah, Austin said my power bill is $480. You gotta turn off the crypto miners. You don't those aren't profitable anymore.
No, evidently not. Yes, minting the NFTs or NFTs will do that. Also, the NFCs will do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter
Yeah,
that they're low
my
power.
my power usage is mostly just my AC unit, which is from I think it might predate the discovery of America. It's very old and very power inefficient, which is why when it needs to run in the summer, my power bill is crazy for a one bedroom apartment. And then during the winter, where occasionally I need the heater to run, so like my pipes don't freeze up, but even that's getting that low is very rare. Uh, like it stays like really in like the 60s and 70s inside. My power bill is like almost nothing. Um, so yeah, again, another reason I hoping this week or next week I maybe start house buying process. We'll see. Um, and then I'll have to pay a lot of money, but it will be things for hopefully that aren't the universe's oldest AC unit. Because I can't replace that right now because it's not mine. Good times.
Hmm. So, well, I suppose we may as well start talking about some of the tech topics. Um, I guess we may as well talk about a thing I think both of us recall. That is Windows Recall. Yeah, I know. No,
Bad. That was
I,
that was bad.
yeah, no, I'm owning that one. Uh,
Okay, so the you may recall, um, the recall feature in Windows 11, which was announced alongside all of the Copilot Plus PCs. Which, by the way, this is still the dumbest naming that Microsoft does now, which is a tough competition. But
yeah,
they now have these like AI PCs, which for the moment are all, I believe, all of them are still Snapdragon PCs. Um, that they're calling Copilot Plus PCs. They also have a subscription service called Copilot Pro, which is like the thing you pay for if you want like the AI stuff in Word and Excel and like the all the more the faster processing in the AI chatbot. And I was writing a thing about Microsoft Office, and I had to write Copilot Pro, and I typed Copilot Plus about 5 times. Um, so that wasn't fun. Austin says, get a heat pump system while there are still a bunch of federal tax credits. Yeah, that is something I'm interested in that I would like to get solved out, because it does get very hot down here. So that is something that if I could fix as early as possible in a potential house, it would pay off immediately, or start paying off immediately. I know those are still expensive. Um, so Recall was the thing where it would periodically take screenshots of your Windows desktop and then index all of those screenshots and do like OCR on them to identify what you were looking at. So that is, you get a big timeline of your computer and you can rewind it to see what you were doing and remind yourself, where did you see something? There's a search bar, so you could search for like, where was I talking to Cody about the podcast or whatever, and it will go find it. Which sounds like a good idea, and contrary to some other people, I think like that core idea is fine. I don't think this was like, everyone needs to panic, but the way it was implemented was very bad. So the database where it stored all the images and OCR text, not encrypted at all. Any app could read that. There were some pretty quick like proof of concept malware for scanning that and sending it elsewhere. Microsoft also was never clear. They had different stories about if this was enabled by default on the PCs that could run it. It would not roll out to PCs without like a built-in NPU. So, this was never at risk of showing up on a couple gen old Intel PC or whatever, but still not good. Should not be enabled by default, at least without like explaining it very well. And that's putting aside the entire argument that Microsoft does the thing where if they really want you to use something, they'll eventually just turn it on by default, kind of like tricking you or just doing it silently in the background. So they never really elaborated, would it stay opt-in forever? So anyway, there was a lot of issues with this. Microsoft first tried to play it off, and then they were like, okay, we'll rework it. We'll rework it before we start shipping out Copilot Plus PCs. And then they realized, oh, wait, we need a lot more time to do that. So it was just turned off on all the Copilot Plus PCs. Some people were able to like turn it back on, or like, by not installing whatever update killed it. So there's been more testing on it. But generally for normal people, it's not accessible right now. So the new part is that they have now announced that it will be testing. It will show up in the Windows Insider testing channels starting in October. They said in a blog post, as previously shared on June 13th, we have adjusted our release approach to leverage the valuable expertise of our Windows Insider community prior to making Recall available for all Copilot Plus PCs. Security continues to be our top priority. Okay. And when Recall is available for Windows Insiders in October, we will publish a blog with more details. So this is the other thing that they got criticized about, where all of the issues with it not being encrypted and everything, that's something that would have been caught if they did it the normal way. They roll out Windows features, is it shows up in like an insider channel first, and then like if there's no issues, they'll roll it out to beta and then slow release and so on. But they didn't do that for this. This was secret until the Copilot Plus PCs came out. So they skipped that whole part where they could have been criticized, but instead they were criticized and also almost put a lot of like normal people at risk who don't install beta software on their computer or beta Windows operating systems. So now they're doing it the way they should have done it from the start, but several months later and after they were quite rightfully dragged through the mud.
Yeah. So, again, it's a neat idea. I don't think that this feature really deserves to be as potentially dangerous and risky as it is. But, they may as well... Like, it was always inevitable they were going to bring it back. admittedly, I kind of thought they were going to bring it back with more changes and maybe wrap it up inside of a bigger thing. So the fact that they're just rolling it out with a very minor rebrand and basically just, little tweaks, kind of surprised.
Yeah, yeah. As far as we know, it's still basically functionally identical. It's just like all encrypted now, and opening it. Well, they mentioned like one of the issues that was brought up here is if you have, say, an abusive spouse or family member, they can log onto the PC you're using and open Recall and see what you've been doing for the past couple hours. So based on that, they did announce that opening Recall will require Windows Hello authentication. So fingerprint or like your PIN if you're doing that to open your PC, that stuff. So there's like a couple little things, but it is mostly the same.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean they fixed a few of the legitimate concerns, or well, improved on them in some way, shape, or form. But I wouldn't say that this is good. This is just a step closer to where it probably should have been on day one. And it was always weird that they didn't get some of this right on day one. So, that's an issue. But it's closer. I guess we have to kind of give them a little bit of credit there. This is almost what it probably should have been on day one.
I don't know if I can give them any credit.
Yeah.
Like it was really bad. They came close to rolling this out.
Yeah.
And I feel like not doing it is like the bare minimum, and then waiting until they got it right. Like this is like I'm about to set fire to your house, Cody. I'm about to do it right now, and at the last moment, I decide to spare your house. Yeah. Do you give me credit for not setting your house on fire? That Corbin guy almost committed arson, but you know what? He did the right thing in the end.
I mean, this feels like you were gonna do all that, but then decided instead you're just going to light a barrel on fire in the front yard.
Yeah, I just said I'm gonna be more strategic with my arson.
Yeah. Or you're gonna just burn down a garage or something. Like you're more selectively opening the door for trouble, but it's not just blanket, let's burn the whole thing down. This turned really weird really quick. So yeah, I mean, again, at least they're improving some stuff. They're not making the classic mistake that like we've seen Google make several times of deciding, oh hey, this thing's broken. You know what? We're just not going to fix anything.
We're not going to fix it, and then we're going to discontinue it for low usage.
Yeah.
In 6 months.
What in the... Okay, that's weird. Is that doing that? Why is there... Huh. Okay. I just discovered this weird activity cards thing in Discord that I've never seen before. That seems like that shouldn't be a thing. Okay, anyway, so off of that AI absurdity, and let's talk about Google's AI absurdity. They have finally announced AI chatbots. The thing that they've announced before a few times. They're doing it again. This time, it's a thing you can make. Except that was also true last time. You could actually do that before. But this time, it's again and for real. Like before. And if you're confused, you should be. Because this is basically the rollout of Gemini's gyms. And they are, exactly as previously said, chatbots. You can create custom gyms that are, for lack of a better way to put it, basically you can pre-craft the context of a chatbot.
this is a copy of ChatGPT's custom GPT, where it's just like it's functionally the same, but you're giving it a prompt to start with that can specify like how it should behave or respond. And I don't know if they support it, but one of the other use cases for this is like you set up a bot that's like pre-configured to use data from a text file. I don't see that here, but that was something that in theory was, I don't know. I messed around with the custom GPT thing for a couple hours when I briefly signed up for when I signed up for a month of ChatGPT Plus, because I did actually have a use case in mind that would have been cool, but unfortunately it just was too stupid to read from the file I gave it, and also didn't follow instructions at all. So that was not very helpful to me.
Yeah. So, the idea I think is reasonably sound. I mean, you're literally just defining the context for the chatbot. You're telling it this is nothing you couldn't already basically achieve by, like, in the middle of or like you could start a new chat with GPT or Gemini or any of these, and literally just tell it, for this chat, I want you to respond with Jamaican mannerisms and only talk about farming or something. I don't know, dumb examples, but that's the basic concept. You can basically tell it how you want it to behave, how you want it to respond, and then all future messages that you have with it are based on that context or inspired by that context in whatever way. It's fine. It's decent, but when all is said and done, it's still the exact same chatbot. Like, you're not really getting a whole lot of additional value, except, as you mentioned, like you can preload it to focus on some text you input, as opposed to just basing it entirely on what's built right into the chatbot.
Yeah, this never worked how I wanted it to with ChatGPT. And like when you go to like the big, I don't know if I can get to it anymore because I'm not on like the paid plan anymore. But ChatGPT has like a repository of like GPTs that people have made, and they're all like train on like a couple lines. It's just like act a different way. It's like, well, that's not how, and there's fun stuff like, they'll be a custom bot that's like, it's more helpful for coding. It's like your coding buddy. And then it's just like pre-telling it like, explain your steps in programming. Like, it's not really changing a lot with how these work.
No. Austin, so. I love that idea though. Hack the planet, brother.
Yeah, I see. I will say there's one thing I did make a custom GPT for, and it only worked sometimes because it kept setting off its like profanity filter. And I've tried doing the same thing with like Llama 3 on my Mac, and it also sometimes refuses to do it. Which is, those like long copy pasta messages that like use a lot of emojis and are like extremely sexually inappropriate. I love those. Those are very funny. So I gave it a bunch of samples, and so I could tell it like, write a happy birthday message for Cody in this style, which when it works, it's extremely funny, but like 9 times out of 10, it's like, actually that's inappropriate. I won't do it for you. So that's like the only use case I will concede to the people who are like, we need like uncensored AI bots. They're really clamping down on our free speech. Like, yeah, I want to make stupid, very inappropriate happy birthday messages. That's fun, actually. But that does also take the human creativity out of those, which is part of the charm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
I'll
I'll
share
grant you
I'll share my prompt. It's here somewhere. Um
that.
Here we go. Put it in the YouTube chat. Have fun.
So I like the concept of this in loose terms, but again, I really just need to emphasize that the whole point is you're just basically giving it like a context prompt. That's all. You're just telling it to behave a certain way. That's fine. It's helpful, I guess. It saves you some typing or something. But that's about it. Like, this isn't... I feel like this isn't really that special. It doesn't compare very well against, like, being able to pick back up with a conversation you already had with a chatbot. I think that's... Actually, frankly, I think that's basically the same thing. You know? That old conversation, whatever state it was left in, that is as much, if not more, the same thing. So, yeah. I mean, this is good, I guess, for people who want it, but I don't know that it's going to be that useful, at least not yet.
No, and the other news thing is that Google's AI generator is allowed to make people again, images of people, because originally it was getting very confused and like race swapping a lot of people for no reason, which was kind of funny. And then like for like 30 seconds, that was a fun culture war thing. The weird right wing people could latch onto.
You know what? I'm actually going to. First off, it's one of the few times that I think they might have had. Unfortunately, they were right. One of the rare instances. But moreover, it was funny.
It was pretty funny.
It was hilarious. I just loved the idea. Or I loved the fact that you had an AI thing generating like Asian Nazis. That was just fun. It's probably the only time Nazis have been fun in their entire history. But anyway, so, oh no, I almost just did a really bad transition, but I'm gonna muscle through. So we have, we're really gonna fly through topics today. Let's talk about. Actually, you know what? I was going to save this for later. I'm just going to get it out of the way now. We're going to quickly make fun of Elon Musk. Because that is evergreen. So, this story, I don't think we're really even going to discuss it. I just think this is so funny and it deserves to be told. They are, or well, X, which is really Twitter, is basically withholding stock from employees if they and they're forcing the employees to write a one-page document explaining why they should be receiving stock. So they're very literally like this is exactly the same as that scene in Office Space where they're asking people to explain why they're important to their job so that they can keep their job. This is that. So if you want to get your bonus, if you want to get the stock that they very literally directly promise to their employees, then you have to now basically audition for it. This is actually the world in which Twitter employees now live. So that has happened. They also are they have also delayed a what were they calling it? A refresh. So this is basically an event where people who work for Musk's different companies, if they're not publicly traded companies, it's where shareholders can basically sell off their stock to other people, and I believe it's all inside the company. I'm not really sure how that works, or they can sell it back to the company or something. Anyway, so these stock refreshes, they're supposed to happen twice a year. The last one that Twitter has held was in October 2023, so they're a little overdue now for having one in the first half of this year. So yeah, they're basically not letting employees sell their stock, which is kind of against contract for them. And very notably, this is kind of doubly rough because the stock value, or the assessed value, keeps falling, so that those shares that they're being forced to hold on to are losing value, and they can't get rid of them because, you know, that's also part of it. So honestly, I'm kind of wondering how long it's going to be before the current batch of employees sues Elon Musk or Twitter, basically saying, one, you promised a stock, you do not get to add new conditions later that we have to audition for it. And two, could we just, you know, sell this crap and get rid of it now? That's the deal. Let us sell it. So yeah, I Corbin, do you have comments on this? You don't have to. We can just move on. I just think this is hilarious. This is literally watching the emperor with no clothes walking around trying to also assert that he has the biggest wang without knowing anything else. Like that's how bad this is getting.
Yeah, I'm also trying to download a uncensored version of the Llama 3 model so I can write my funny messages.
Oh boy. Okay, so we now have 3 remaining topics, and I'd like to point out they are all entirely consumerism based. Woohoo, we did it. So
we love consuming.
Yes. So let's start with the golly, which billionaire do we want to focus on? Let's just start with Amazon Prime. If you're feeling like buying more stuff, and that's it. If you're feeling the need to buy more stuff, Prime Day is coming back, baby. Corbin?
Yes. So Amazon has said that their Prime Big Deal Days will start on. Do they have a?
I think it's just generally October. I don't think
they're. Yeah, they said sometime in October. Yet. Yeah. So there's this on top of the Prime Day that already happened like 2 months ago or whatever. I don't remember anymore. And then there will also be the Black Friday like month as usual. So basically just nonstop consumerism until we hit the end of the year, or like mid-December maybe. So yeah, good stuff. So as always, I recommend thinking about what you need / kind of want and put it in your cart, or set up a like a price alert. I like using Keepa. I think it's Keepa.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when the deals start, you just check that, and if nothing's on sale, great. You just don't buy anything. That's the way to do it. Don't get sucked in. Be like, oh well, that, you know, that laptop is $300 off. No, you already put everything you wanted or needed in the list, right? So you don't need that. You don't save money by buying something you weren't going to buy. That's not how the money works.
You know, I will grant there are a few exceptions to something like this. Particularly if, well, the one that always gets me, and it certainly ruined my day this last Prime Day. The classic, hey, here's a deal where you can get like $20 or $30 off, but it's only on select products or products that are sold and shipped by Amazon. And then you go through your entire list and it's like, there's nothing here. And so then you spend your whole like day or even the next few hours just looking for things that you may not want them, or sorry, you may not need them, but you would actually like them, or they would make good substitutes for something you do want. Yeah, that gets me every time, because I'm not giving up that $20 or $30 discount.
Yeah. So I didn't really get anything on whatever the last sale thing was. I don't really think I need anything. I still kind of want a new router, but that's not like that big of a priority. Mine's okay. It's just like slightly annoying. That's really it. I've already bought a lot of shit this year. I got new chair. I did just get AirPods Pro, because I don't know if Apple will actually give me an AirPods with the normal, like, not in-ear design in 2 weeks. And even if it does, I was like, well, I can see if like maybe these are the magic, in-ear earbuds that will work for me, and then like return or sell them if they don't. So far they're fine. I'm using like the smallest included tips. Sound fine. It's got USB-C, so that's good. So I'm generally pretty good. Also been selling a bunch of crap I don't need, so that's always good. That's good.
Yeah, I actually plan to do some of that over the next few weeks too.
And I can't buy a house on Amazon on sale, unfortunately.
Wait, are you sure? And I say that.
No, I know.
Not joking,
yeah.
Because you can buy a car. Why not a house?
I forget who. I think it was Drew Gooden, or not Drew Gooden. It was other person like him who did a video like, I bought a house on Amazon. It was one of those like, not, I don't know what the word for it. It wasn't like prefabricated. Like it wasn't like a mobile home or anything, but it was like a thing you like put together, like a giant IKEA desk, but it's a house. It's a little house, more like a shack. But yeah, that's not the one I need, to be clear. Amazon, I think he sells cars. Yeah, you haven't seen the Amazon Dash button for the Kia car? When you're low on cars, you can click the button.
And Carson, yes, it's actually true. If you go looking, you can actually buy a car on Amazon. Which that just has the most like rich person dare you energy I've ever heard.
Austin said, Corbin, you're about to spend an absurd amount of time and money at Lowe's, so good for you for saving. Yeah, I know.
Which
there is I don't know exactly where I'm gonna end up, but where I am right now, there's a Lowe's like half a mile from me, so that's pretty nice.
Oh, you're gonna miss that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to move to the boonies probably.
Yeah, and oh man, I'll tell you, because I've been there. When you are in project mode, like when you get a new place and you're making improvements, changes, whatever, oh boy, you will have to just you'll make like 5 round trips to Lowe's in a single day.
Oh, I did that when I moved here, because this is the first place I lived as a like moved out independent adult. And of course, like first day I went to Target like 5 times because I'm like, wait, I don't have like forks or cups. Like, oh wait, I think I need these. But they were just always there before.
Yeah, I definitely did that when I first moved. Actually, I didn't do too much of it when I first moved into an apartment. When I moved down to Vegas, I was weirdly pretty not well stocked, but I was stocked well enough that I usually only just kind of like stopped at stores on the way home from work, picked up something, and that was usually all I needed to do. I didn't have to make like round trips or anything like that. It was when I moved into I started renting a house down in Vegas. Oh man, that started turning into the round trips, and then it got really bad when I bought a house with, basically I got a house with my girlfriend. Oh man, that was the multiple trips to Lowe's. That was the constant like run, jump, dive, try to get the right things, have to return something, go back, pick up something new because you didn't realize a certain tool was necessary, or you start reading like tutorials on how to do a thing, and oh hey, it's not until 10 minutes in that something else is mentioned, and it's like, oh god, it's the worst. Also, as a side note, if you ever find yourself in a situation to install tile, pay someone. Just pay someone.
No,
pay
yeah,
someone.
I know my limits. This is the same thing as like every time I'm writing about like repairing smartphones, I'm like, this seems great. I will never do this. I'm like, nope. I'm gonna like unglue my phone screen and it will shatter. I know for a fact that will happen. I'm aware of my limits, and I work to overcome them when I can, and then pay someone where I can't. I think that's important.
Yeah. So
anyway, speaking of consumerism.
Yeah, so really quick, just to acknowledge it, I'm trying to think if there was anything else, but I think my only air quote big purchase, which is not a big purchase, but my only Prime Day purchase that was of any size, I picked up an add-on for my light stand so that I can tip the softbox all the way down so it points down. I have used this so much since Prime Day. This was the most worthwhile purchase I could have made. It's been incredible for review photos. Because previously I was literally just taking the entire light stand and propping it up, I'm not kidding, on top of my monitor and a few boxes. So, excellent.
Nice.
But on the subject of buying things that, just on the subject of buying things, Apple time. It's coming. It's coming. Mm-hmm. On September 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, the correct time zone, Apple's going to be holding an event, and they're going to be announcing iPhones. I mean, we all know it. Like, there's no point beating around the bush. This is definitely an iPhone event. It's apparently got a theme of glow. I don't really know why.
I was having a conversation about this. I think Apple just picks a phrase and goes, like, it very rarely means anything. Like, this could be coming out of like an astrology calendar for all I know. They just really like messing with people.
Austin makes a great point. You need a new red bench.
That's true. If I get a house, I should get a red bench. That would be a nice. I'll have to ask my mom where the first one came from that she still has.
I think this is actually like now the meme requirement. It's like me wearing the beanie. You need a red bench. With these are two-dimensional traits that will live on, and one day when comics are made about us, these will be our trademarks.
Yeah, it's always fun when I look at Android Police briefly to see like what's going on over there, and somewhere occasionally there's a very compressed image of the red bench. I'm like, oh yeah, my legacy lives on in the images that have got recycled and re-uploaded too many times.
Yeah. Um, it's entirely too true.
My patio table that I've taken pictures on for How to Geek is not quite as iconic,
No.
unfortunately.
Well, you haven't done very many reviews for How to Geek
No.
anyway, so
I've done like 3 or 4, and most of the pictures in those were taken by someone else. So,
yeah,
and they don't have a red bench. I think that's an issue.
Well, that is a fault on them. Like,
Yeah.
that. What are they even doing with their lives? They've made such huge mistakes. But yeah, speaking.
So I have great news. The uncensored version of Llama can write the overly sexual messages. So actually, AI is good.
I don't even know what to say to this, but
I asked it to write a celebratory message about the following news, and I pasted the first couple paragraphs of an article about the Telegram CEO being arrested. It's not that funny, but it's almost got it. Let me make sure there's no like curse words in here.
I like that. That's what you're worried about, is the curse words.
Well, I don't see anything like weirdly sexual about it either. So, I can't put in the full message.
Into
okay,
YouTube
I'll
chat?
paste it.
No.
Yeah.
Just throw it into Discord in the RambleCast chat room.
No, that's not fun. Okay. Can I paste it in 2 parts? No. There we go. So AI is good, actually. Although not really, because this isn't that funny. It's just kind of funny that I got the AI to make this. I'll play with it more later. I might need to tweak the instructions.
Austin, as a side note, I was very close to bringing that in as a topic, but I figured Corbin would feel uncomfortable with it. Though I am going to give a really micro hot take about it in a little bit.
Is this the thing where he was complaining about what he had to take down for COVID?
Yeah.
Is that nonsense? Yeah, that was pretty silly.
Yeah, so you know what? Let's just sidetrack into that for just a second, because frankly, I think I know what this whole thing's actually about. But so for those who didn't hear the super quick like nano summary on this is that Zuckerberg recently sent a report to Jim Jordan. I was about to say the D-bag who supported the molestation of kids in his schools. But yeah, I remembered his name, so no need to describe him that way, except he should always be described that way. Anyway, this report basically asserted that the Biden administration basically muscled Facebook into taking down COVID misinformation across Facebook. Which, golly, it's funny how he makes it sound like a bad thing that intentional misinformation was being removed from the internet. It's a wild thing to make that sound bad. Anyway, so he also, as a side note, he also said that they felt bad for censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story because they thought it was misinformation too. And okay, that one turned out mostly real. Anyway, so yeah, Zuckerberg is now feeling all kinds of bad about censorship, and like they should have made different decisions and blah blah blah. So they're basically saying, well, okay, do you have any other comments before I go into my theory on this?
No, I'm still I'm still entertaining myself over here. I asked it to make I typed make it more sexually explicit, and now it is extremely funny.
Wow.
I won't put this one in YouTube chat.
No, you definitely should
Um,
not.
I won't do that.
But it can go into Discord.
I'll put it in my Discord. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, my theory on the okay, so the thing that Zuckerberg has now basically said is that they've changed their moderation policies at Facebook to basically be more free speech oriented, to do less censorship. Okay, now that's one take on this. That's kind of the spin that you could go to if you wanted to go down this road. The other explanation, and honestly, I'm pretty sure that this is it. The other explanation is that there is, if you're paying attention to this, about once or twice a month, there is a big, huge report from somewhere in the world basically saying hate speech, racism, coordinated attacks against groups of people, massive scams, these are all taking place in rampant amounts across Facebook, especially in underserved countries where Facebook's moderation has been abysmal. I'm pretty sure what Zuckerberg's real purpose is to justify, yeah, here's why we really don't protect those countries. Here's why we don't really protect this particular group of people. We've been bashed over the head for how bad we do this. Well, now we can excuse it by saying it's a choice to let free speech run rampant, and basically, yeah, it's because of these mistakes we made in the past of censoring things that we have to allow hate speech, racism, scams, and everything else. Because if we don't, we're the bad guys. That's what he's doing. At least that's my take on it.
Yeah, no, this is just an extension of I know Zuck made this very stupid comment after Trump almost got assassinated, where he was like, "That was the coolest thing I've ever seen." It's like, shut up.
Oh, was that
You're
Zuck?
such a weirdo.
Or did
yeah,
Zuck
that
say
was
that?
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He said, like, I think it was in like some interview, and he was like, "That was the like really brave thing I saw," or something like that. It was just sucking up. So it seems like there's now a developing pattern of him kind of leaning more into the right wing arguments. Obviously, this has been a problem for years, but very recently it seems like there's a pattern of these incidents that is not cool.
Yeah, well, there are things I certainly would be inclined to say to that, but I'm not going to go down that road here. But yeah, it's he has been a bad take machine for quite a while. And the all of this excuses that he's kind of thrown around right now feel kind of like he's trying to throw kind of trying to throw a wrench into the election, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It kind of feels like maybe he's or kind of my guess is at this point that he recognizes no matter what, if Democrats win, they're probably going to come after Facebook anyway. So whether he sucks up or not, that's, it won't help him. But if he sucks up to Trump and Trump wins, then Facebook will have the blessing. Whereas if he doesn't suck up to Trump, Facebook is in the crosshairs. That's, it's kind of like how every company out there or all the big companies will pay for, or they'll all donate money to every candidate. It doesn't matter what side the candidate's on. It doesn't matter anything else. They're just going to donate because why not have your, little mini bribes in the record? That way, maybe the candidate will just decide to ignore you if they win, or maybe do you a favor too if they win. And it's worth just giving money to all of them because why not? Yeah, that I think is why he's sucking up, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he actually is just going full right wing, and that is now the Zuckerberg that we'll be making fun of, just like we've been making fun of Elon.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thing that all the tech companies do to an extent. Like, there's articles every election cycle about how like Google gave like $1 billion to like the worst Republicans to ever walk the earth, and then also $1 billion to like some Democrats. Mm-hmm. So like they always play both sides to an extent, but yeah, like it definitely seems like a Meta, Facebook is far more sympathetic to one side than the other in terms of their actual policies, and
that kind of fits with their user base too.
Yeah, and it fits well. Yeah, and it, I mean, also again fits with Mark. Like if you're rich, like yeah, this is established pattern. Like this is a guy who is wealthier beyond recognition. Like he's building a literal like fortress in Hawaii somewhere, so when the world ends he can go like camp out for a while. Like pretty easy to see where he fits in.
Yeah. So let's see. Now that we've done the bummer topic, back to Apple, I guess. I don't know. I don't think there's much more to really say on this Zuckerberg thing. And there probably wasn't a whole lot to say about the Apple event. I mean, again, we expect iPhones, right? There's a possibility of new AirPods, and there is a very good possibility, I think, that they might also refresh the iPad. Just the base block iPad, because that's overdue.
I don't think it is, because they did it. I don't know if it was this year or like late last year, but it was pretty recently. That was the one where they did like the new colors and USB-C and stuff. I know. I was reading Mark Gurman's latest thing, and he was saying new iPhones, obviously, Apple Watch Series 10, and new AirPods. And the AirPods is supposed to be a replacements for the current like base AirPods, not the Pro. But Apple's doing 2 tiers, and one of those will have active noise canceling and the other will not. So I guess that would fit in with, I think right now they're still selling like the AirPods like 2nd and 3rd gen together. So I guess they would just replace that with a new cheap one and a new mid-tier one. But yeah, that's it. I know like he's also talked about like there's a bunch of M4 Max that are pretty close to being ready to go, but that would probably be a different event, or just Apple drops it, on the store one day. It's like, oh, here's your new Mac Minis.
Okay, so at least according to Mac Rumors Buyer's Guide, the old iPad, they say, is approaching end of cycle and hasn't had an update in 680 days since October 2022. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to get a refresh right this event, but it's due. So, there should be something. Notably, the Mac Mini is in the distinctive, like, holy crap, way overdue stage, but, or sorry, I meant iPad Mini. But yeah, we shall see. Either way, iPads could make their appearance. It's unclear for sure whether they will. There's also pretty solid rumors quietly going on that there will be an event also in October, and if that's the case, it is expected that it will probably be whatever is left to update this year, which is almost certainly going to be Mac and or iPad. So if iPads don't make it into the iPhone event, then it'll be the October event where we see the probably iPad Mini and iPad both get updates.
Don't say 2 Apple events within a month to me, Cody. You're making my blood pressure go. Although I did see that they're doing it at hold on, let me open this page again. On their website they say the I guess they don't say it here. I saw someone say that they're doing it at like their main like theater on their campus, like where they did like the in-person events. So maybe this won't be a pre-recorded one. I don't know. I will say if it's the pre-recorded Apple events in terms of like watching them as a normal person have been very good. Like they've been very well produced, especially compared to whatever it is that Google did this year at I/O. That was the most embarrassing thing I've watched in a long time. Except Deadpool and Wolverine, but we won't go there. But if they switch to like in-person live events again, as someone who has to frantically write about what is on screen while it's going, I wouldn't mind that. When they're doing the slower transitions where they've got, here we've got Phil Schiller, come on Phil, and everyone has to walk up and shake hands. That gives me another like minute to finish the paragraph I was typing. So that's always good. During the pre-recorded events, I really only get a break when they switch to talking about Apple TV Plus. And annoyingly, they like to do that at the start before I have something I need to do. So, if they wanted to go back to the live events, as long as I'm doing this for work, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, so I could be wrong, but I am pretty sure that I see. Okay, so I remember seeing what you're talking about, where they said they were going to be holding it at, I believe it. I want to say it was the Steve Jobs Theater, but maybe it was the other one. Whichever theater it was, I do seem to remember seeing that somewhere, and now I can't find it.
Yeah, there was some like Apple press page, but when I went to their press site, there's nothing on there that's recent.
Yeah. So, that being said, I'm pretty sure it was just mentioned some. Oh, I don't remember where it would have been. But it was a thing because it's either that or we all just collectively hallucinated it. One thing I do find interesting is the email. It says it's glow time, but nowhere on their site do they actually reiterate that phrase. So, though if you do open this from the email, you get a really neat animation.
Yeah, there is that one page. That's what I was thinking of. It's on their developer site, but they don't say where it is either. They just say it's glow time.
Yeah. So, it's a neat effect. Yay them. But yeah, will this be Siri related, as Carson sort of jokingly suggested? I wouldn't be surprised. I think we're definitely going to see a lot of AI talk related to Siri, or Apple Intelligence, as they'll surely have to push the branding. I imagine, I don't know. I'm not even really sure what to expect out of the iPhones. I haven't been following the leak and rumor mill for this round of iPhones. I'm curious, but I'm not curious enough that I'm gonna end up buying one. So
yeah, I'm fine with my 15. Still fine.
You know what side I will say as an aside, I would consider buying one if there's a crazy good trade-in deal. Because I do have a carrier a carrier device to like time frame coming up. If I can get an iPhone for practically nothing on my carrier, I might do that. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just wait. So let's see. I think that's about it for this, unless you've got any predictions that you want to make.
No, I saw Austin brought up Mac Mini. I'd be annoyed if they the rumor this time is that there will be an M4 Mac Mini with a new design. So for first time in like 15 years, they're changing the mini design. All the rumors seem to indicate it's just like gonna be smaller, which is not what they should be doing. That's stupid. Mac Mini right now, it's fine. It fits on a desk most of the time. It's fine. I would much the thing about the Mac Mini is that because this is a shell that existed back when they were using like, you know, space heater Intel chips and like an actual CD drive.
Yeah,
there
I was
a
gonna
CD
say
drive in
the
this
size of it was almost entirely determined by the fact that they had a optical drive
Right.
in it.
So now all that's like empty space. They can, so what they should be doing is slap a SATA drive slot in there. Put two. You could probably fit two. Put in like an NVMe slot. You know, you could do some fun stuff with that. You've got all that extra room. I know that none of these computers need like huge heat sinks or anything anymore. But they're not going to do that because it's Apple. So they'll make it smaller and less repairable. That's what will happen.
So I don't disagree with the logic. Being able to stick a couple of sticking a few like NVMe drives in there would definitely be a thing. For that matter, even having a oh geez, why am I suddenly blanking on the name?
You know,
that
if they're gonna go crazy, front USB ports. I know that might be too much, but I think they should give it a shot.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yeah, it's definitely too much. They would mar the front of that device.
Well, they put was it like a front SD card slot on the Mac Studio, so they're not like allergic to doing this anymore. But yeah, USB port might be too far. Mac Mini with MagSafe. Oh no.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a bit of a wild one at the, and we all know that there's no way that they would do this. But imagine if they actually put in a PCIe slot.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
They'll never do it, but a PCIe slot on the back of a Mac Mini would be pretty baller. In practical terms, what I think they're probably going to do, they could make it thinner, which is what Austin was saying he wants. But what I would actually really expect, because they could do this, they shouldn't do this, but they could make it the size of the Apple TV.
Yeah, they just take the Apple TV enclosure and
Yep.
stick a computer. Yeah, I would imagine that's what they're gonna do, or something very close to that.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because the first Apple TV was a Mac Mini, basically.
Yeah.
So comes full circle.
But I mean, you know, the idea of walking out on stage, literally, like you don't have it come up out of the stage or do anything like that. You just walk out on stage and you're, you know, they're just holding a box that's well, it's smaller than even this. By the way, this is a Chromecast audio.
Oh,
I
Cody's
dug these
flaunting
out.
his wealth right now
Yep.
at me. I don't believe this.
Oh no, you want flaunting wealth? Here's the other one.
Oh my
Ooh.
god. This Cody's gonna get robbed right after this stream is done, and he
Yeah,
did it
you're
to
gonna be the
himself.
one robbing me.
Yeah, before I set fire to your house.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Anyway, yeah. Imagine walking out on stage and just holding up a box that's roughly this size and going, "Hey, we made the Mac Mini even more mini. Like, it's smaller. You can toss this into your, like little satchel or side bag and carry it wherever you want. And boom, you can take a whole computer with you. It practically fits in your pocket. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, because you can. I mean, the components easily can be fit inside of something the size of a Mac, or inside the size of an Apple TV. I mean, they're already fitting this
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
inside of an iPad. And
Well, when like iFixit does teardowns of the MacBook Airs or whatever, and you see that like the battery is like 95% of the internal volume, and they've
yeah,
got the actual computer on a little itty bitty chip. So you don't need that battery. Actually, that would be another thing they could use on the Mac Mini. Is
battery
a
backup.
built-in battery backup. Yeah, it's just like little. You could even make it slot open to replace that if you really wanted to go all out. But like little 10 minutes of charge or something. Especially because the M1 chips are so power efficient. So you could get a lot of battery backup out of that battery backup.
Here's
And
here's a bit
there
of
was
a
there
weird one, but imagine instead of doing battery backup, put in a supercapacitor. You've got the space for it, and
Mhm.
that way you're not putting in something that would wear out as a side effect of using or just having it plugged in all the time, constantly at full charge. Yeah, put in a supercapacitor. With their energy efficiency, in theory, you could probably get it wouldn't be super long, but you could get at least a couple minutes out of that. um Maybe a couple minutes is optimistic, but you could get something.
Mhm.
That I don't know how much it would cost to do this, but it would be pretty cool. Just that way the computer could put itself to sleep or go into idle sleep state or shut itself down, whatever the case. Like, it could do a whole bunch of stuff to protect itself from power outages. That would be super cool.
Yeah, and there was some wire crossing in the chat because someone said MagSafe, and I was thinking like the MacBook MagSafe, like just the cable yanks out. But then someone was bringing up the wireless charging MagSafe, and that would also be cool if like the top of the Mac Mini was a MagSafe charging stand. You just stick your phone there, and it could even like sync. I don't know,
You mean
do
like the
something
Google
fun.
TV streamers should have been?
Yeah. I think there's been some like PC cases with that too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like little cheap
I've seen
chargers
a
on
few
top.
PC cases with Qi charging.
Again, all this like Apple, like you need to call us. Like we've got so many great ideas, but you're gonna do the stupid thing and just make it smaller and less repairable.
Yeah, yes.
Um, which is a shame.
I mean, it is a shame, but I actually will credit the idea of, I'm okay with the idea of them also making a Mac Mini smaller. Not that I think they should, not that I think that's the best way to go. But I am sitting here thinking, you could put it in more places. You could fit it in more spots. You could more realistically, like, even take it and mount it on the back of a monitor. Make it small enough and it wouldn't really
Right.
be that big of a deal just to attach it to the back of a monitor or under a desk.
Yeah, get some like Vesa, like official Vesa mounts going. Like maybe you could do something cool.
Yeah.
Um,
There's
it's just
there's
if
stuff
they
you can
make it
do if you make
small
it small.
enough, If they make it small enough, you wouldn't even do that. They just give you like a stick of like 2M adhesive in the box. You just slap it on the back of the monitor.
I mean, yeah. Um, or okay, look, I don't think they're gonna do this, but just imagine it. Put it into a Chromecast, like a dongle the size of a Chromecast, and just be like, yeah, you can plug it right into a monitor.
I mean that's
It would be
closer to the
terrible
angle
because
I would.
you need USB ports and you need, you know,
Yeah.
you need things, but there is an angle where that would actually be a pretty cool thing to do with a Mac Mini.
Yeah, if they were going this route, I would say, and again, they could still do this if it was a normal size, but I could see it being more interesting if they did this while making it smaller. Is they could do what Apple did in like 2005, 2006 with their Macs and bring Homebro back and include a little remote with the Mac Mini. And you can plug your Mac Mini when you're traveling, whatever, into a TV, and it becomes an Apple TV.
Yeah.
They could do that. That'd be cool. Yeah, or like you said, they could add a mode where it functions as an AirPlay target. Well, Macs already kind of do that, but like it's a little bit janky. Maybe they could add, they could put a little button somewhere to switch back and forth. That'd be kind of cool. Potentially low. Well, I don't, not potentially. Just it would depend on what charger you use. If they're making it smaller, they could just do like USB-C port on the back for charging. So potentially run it off a battery or something. You could do that. Yeah, again, a lot of stuff they could do. They're not going to do any of it. They're just going to make it smaller.
Yeah.
And add nothing.
Yeah, Apple does not need to be ambitious with this product. It's already well liked. It's already doing what people want it to do. Apple can basically rest on it. They can rest. They don't need to be competitive because at this stage they're competing with themselves.
Yeah, like that's the other thing is like it's funny how little attention the Mac Mini gets because it's like the best computer in its class by far. Like if you don't need something Windows specific, which there are a lot of use cases for that. Like if you're okay with Mac OS, Apple sells this for starting at $5.99, or if you have the education discount, it's $4.99. That is crazy for how good that's the M2 Mac Mini, by the way. That is crazy for the power, performance, power efficiency you get. That's a computer with now granted that is like 256 gigs of storage, which is not good. Again, they should put the M2 slot or the SATA slot, whatever. But as it stands right now, that is a very fast processor. That's 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports for expansion later. It's got gigabit Ethernet. It's got a lot of expansion stuff. It's got, I think, Wi-Fi 6E. Like you go to, because I've written a lot about these for How to Geek. Like you go over to the little desktops that like Lenovo or Dell sells. Awful compared at this price point. It's going to be some garbage like laptop Intel chip, like Apple was using before they switched to ARM. All the Mac Minis and the iMacs were using laptop Intel chips because the desktop ones generated too much heat.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have to, this is already like a crazy deal, but I would prefer if they kept this design and just added more stuff inside with all the room they've gained over the years.
Yeah.
Or put the drive bay back. That would be fun. That would be a fun twist.
No,
we're bringing it back.
It's the one back pedal that I'm glad Apple's never going to do.
Yeah, I prefer a SATA slot or 2. They could fit like probably 3 in there.
It is too bad that Apple never does April Fool's jokes, because can you imagine if they announced we're bringing back the Super Drive?
Yeah.
The internet would lose it. So yeah. Anyway,
You know what they should do also, if I'm gonna continue imagining things that won't happen, Do all that with the Mac Mini, and also bring back their eyesight lineup and make it
Oh,
good. Make it good this time.
cringe.
No one
Um,
remembers eyesight.
I love. By the way, I really love that. The one product that is absolutely, definitely not going to be announced at the September event is the thing that we've been spending all this time focusing
Yeah.
on. This is why it's called the RambleCast,
Yeah.
folks.
This is why you can't talk to me about Mac Minis. This is what happened.
Corbin is passionate about the minis.
Yeah, it's true. I do like the Mac Mini I'm talking on right now. Very good computer. I like the one behind me that is now running an operating system from 2009 and an operating system from 2023 on the other partition.
Corbin is with Mac minis how I am with NASs.
I'll eventually write that post. It's gonna happen. I needed to write the YouTube DL one first, and that one's done now. Austin said Qualcomm should have their Exelite and Mini PCs this fall. Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. The only one I've seen is that Snapdragon Dev Kit that like is not sold to normal people, and I'm sure doesn't have like a warranty or anything. And I also saw people were having issues like ordering those, like they weren't like actually in stock for a long time. So
Yeah,
I hope that happens. Like Windows on ARM is still kind of garbage, but it it would probably be a better product than again trying to get Intel or AMD's laptop class processors in these things.
yeah.
Also, the Snapdragon PC would probably have upgradable drives and RAM, or at least drives.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think they're gonna go with RAM because the benefits and like the performance benefit, a big chunk of why so much performance advantage exists for
Yeah, that
those
might
is
yeah
because of the onboard, like built right onto the chip RAM.
yeah that the RAM might be on the die. Yeah, but the I think most, if not all, of the Snapdragon laptops we've seen so far have just normal like NVMe storage. Like the new Surface Pro has a slot on the back you can open and replace the drive, which again Apple could do. There's nothing with their current architecture that would prevent a little NVMe slot inside the computer.
You,
but
sir, do
they
not
won't do
know that. It's common
They
sense,
find a way.
but
Yeah.
technically, you have not sat down and looked at their architecture to figure out that they can definitely add NVMe drives. They totally can. It's ridiculous to say they can, but you don't know it. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully,
Yeah, all those Thunderbolt buses, they just can't handle a drive.
yeah. So yeah, we're all gonna get Mac Minis this fall. That's gonna be a thing. But the other thing we're all going to get, yes, I'm just forcibly moving us past this. The other thing we are all gonna get this fall, you know it, I know it. It's the Barbie phone, baby. HMD mobile. Actually, is it still HMD mobile or is it just HMD? Whatever. Anyway, HMD is oh, I guess it wouldn't be HMD mobile because it's human mobile devices. That's what HMD stands for. Anyway, they have announced, or rather, they already kind of pre-announced the Barbie phone, but now it's a thing. They've
They said it was coming. Yeah, they said it was coming a few months ago, but they didn't like show it to anyone or say anything besides it's coming. But now it is real. It is a pink flip phone. I haven't like I wasn't the one who wrote about this for How To Geeks. I didn't like fully look at everything. I would assume this is using a similar shell as like one of their other flip phones, but I haven't fully checked. It just looks like all the flip phones that like AT&T will sell your grandmother who doesn't want to use a smartphone. But It is a bright pink color, and it says Barbie in big text, and it has an outer and inner screen. I believe this is using. Uh, did they say the OS? I guess it's KaiOS. Um, Again, I didn't have a chance to fully. Uh, I'll check the specs page. I don't see. Oh yeah, it's down here at the bottom. The specs is. Oh, it's using S30 plus. Okay, so that's their like feature phone OS. That so not even KaiOS. That's pretty basic. That's gonna do like calls and texts and not a whole lot else. But they do have 2.8-inch internal screen. Watch out. 1.7-inch external screen. It's got USB-C. That's good. 3.5 millimeter jack. My $800 phone doesn't have that, so good job. Bluetooth 5. It's got FM radio. You love to see it. I wrote an article a while back that we need to bring that back on all phones, and it can play MP3s. So that's pretty nifty.
Advanced technology.
Yeah.
I particularly want to call attention to possibly the cringiest, most "how do you do, fellow kids" moment. This passage here. The 0.3 megapixel camera with torch delivers authentic Y2K style images, which is the latest trend among Gen Zers who are taking photos with classic phones and vintage cameras. And it also comes with a Barbie camera frame for your pictures. Yay!
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like, I know that is a thing. I've definitely seen a little bit of an uptick on of people like digging out very old iPhones to take pictures with, but that is very much like H&B's marketing people doing an absolutely stellar job of turning like a very bad thing about the phone, which is that it has like the worst camera you've ever seen, and turning that into something else. So I have to give them props for that. That's pretty good. This has been HMD's like one of their big pivots I've noticed with, because like they'll send me emails occasionally. They're like, "Hey, we have a new phone, you know, it's and initially their feature phone business was from Nokia. They took over Nokia's feature phones, which were just, you know, I'm sure declining a lot. And then they started doing like the retro inspired Nokia phones. Like I think I have two. I think I bought two of them. And over the past couple of years, they've leaned more heavily on the like decluttering, like digital detox, whatever. Because they see all the like minimalist phones getting a lot of press attention and maybe purchase. I don't know who's buying these. Well, I bought two, but besides me, because I'm not normal.
Truth.
So that's definitely been something they've leaned into a lot more over the past couple of years, is sort of reconfiguring their feature phone lineup into something that like exists because they've like had it for too long, to like, oh, maybe we can sell these by marketing them as like alternatives. So they seem to be doing a good job with this. This is more of that. Again, I do kind of wish it was KaiOS, just because like
it might have apps.
That's still kind of like I know that's not the point of this, but like it is just more generally useful. Like that's also a good point. I don't know if they said, okay, so this has LTE, so that's good. I think KaiOS phones have 5G now, but I'm not sure. So that's a little bit of an issue where LTE bandwidth is increasingly being moved to 5G. So might not get the best reception on this everywhere. But yeah, I mean it looks fine. I'm not the target market for this. It's kind of it is a little bit weird that this is very much intended for a moment in time that ended like a year ago. Obviously, you know, I don't think Barbie's not out of like style or anything like that, but I think the window to make this like more of a mainstream product is probably gone. Um, but they got a lot of attention, so that's good for them.
Yeah.
And this is also another like I think sort of the other strategic element here. If I'm gonna contemplate about the implications of the Barbie film, is this is another way to. It's funny. They're this is a HMD branded phone, so this is what they've been doing recently. Is they're trying to get away from the Nokia brand. I'm sure because eventually they would like to stop paying Nokia for licensing fees, and also just have something of their own, which is fair. Um, but with this one, they found a different brand to borrow to sell some phones. Um, but maybe this will make more people notice H&D, and then H&D can sell them their other phones that are not Barbie or Nokia branded. I don't know.
So, um, I'm gonna go out on a bit of a ledge here and predict that there probably will be a second Barbie movie, because how do you not make a sequel to that movie at this point? Unless Margot Robbie absolutely refuses to. Uh, so, all said and done, I'm pretty confident there's going to be a sequel. HMD really should have waited on this. They could have launched the Barbie phone then and made a killing. Unless maybe their strategy is to come out with the phone now, have a huge back stock of them that will not sell, and then when the new movie comes out eventually, they'll sell it for like a crazy scalper markup, because then people will see that the now defunct phone is super cool again.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't have anything to add. That's just the Barbie phone.
Yeah. No, look, I agree. This was a moment in time phone. It's a weird time for this to come out. They definitely should have moved on this much sooner. Um or again, like I said, save it for later. I don't know.
I like that it comes with like Barbie stickers. Um,
Well, why
in
wouldn't
the
it?
box for you to stick on your phone. I think more phones should have silly stickers included in the box that you can stick onto the phone. Not the Apple stickers
I was just
that
gonna
come with
say
iPhone.
Apple comes with
That's
stickers.
not that's not the same thing. And the Apple stickers are not fun. Um,
Depends on
that's
where
just
you
an
put
Apple.
them.
That's true. Yeah,
If
all
you were at
stickers
I will
all all stickers have a baseline level of fun by virtue of being a sticker. I will agree to that.
I if anyone's curious, I'll tell you exactly how to have a lot of fun with an Apple sticker. If you are ever at the Microsoft Build event and you walk past somebody's laptop when they're not looking, whack right on the back of it.
Mhm.
That's a way to have fun with an Apple sticker.
That's true.
Um,
I definitely remember like people who very clearly like probably wanted a MacBook instead of the laptop they had. They stuck an Apple logo on like the back of their laptop, like the where the it would go on a MacBook.
yep, I've seen people do that, and it, what's really weird too is when that's the only sticker they put on there, so you can tell they're genuinely trying to like imitate it. That that's weird. Um, so yeah. Anyway, bring back bedazzling. Wow, wow. Um, that's particularly fun because I'm actually watching through the Goldbergs right now, and bedazzling is kind of a common subject on that show. Um, so yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at H&D's website now, and they do have a. I clicked back to their US site in the feature phones, and they do. It does look like the Barbie phone is a slightly modified version of their other flip phone. There's the 2780 flip that looks basically identical. So I guess that raises the question: why did it take this long? uh, yeah, and that also runs their weird not Kai. Well, no, wait, that has KaiOS. I see the KaiOS App Store on here. What's going on? Or did they mess up the screenshot? Hold on. Specs. I actually like how this phone looks. It looks pretty cool. Yeah, this one has KaiOS. So why does the Barbie phone? Okay, so on the press release for the Barbie phone, they make a big deal out of like digital detox, and like I saw like literally like no social medias, like a sticker they had on it. So did they choose the worst operating system so they could do that? Because KaiOS does have a web browser, for better or worse. That's kind of funny. They made a worse version of their phone. It'll probably be more expensive because it's Barbie. Because we all know girl stuff costs more for no reason. That's how that works.
The pink tax, yes.
The pink tax and just virtue of having Barbie brand. You got to pay for that license somehow.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Plus hiring as close a lookalike as they could get to pretend to be Barbie. Yeah,
that is a very, very close to how she looked in the movie.
Yeah, there's just so much cringe in this. But hey, you know,
do I have my Nokia phone?
Oh no.
Opening my drawer of phones.
Austin, evil plan. I can buy a bunch of tamper-resistant Intel Inside stickers off AliExpress. Wow. And I mean, that's definitely something that you should go around and put on Intel, or sorry, on MacBooks. That's just the truly like key move.
It gets in the other room. Hold on.
Oh no. Corbin's off on an adventure.
Found it.
Oh, found it. Okay.
So I do have, I don't know what this one was called, but I do have one of the Nokia phones. They're like big soap bar one. And I did get this because I was mostly curious, and I did put like a second SIM in this as something to initially to use when I walked my dog, and like I didn't need like a smartphone. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll do this. So I did buy into the hype a little bit, but I mostly got it because I was just curious. I don't remember which one this was, but I did get a 32 gig micro SD card on this, so I was using it as like a music player, and it had radio, so I could set it to the local like whatever NPR affiliate. But this one is KaiOS, so it's better than the Barbie phone. And I do like how it's got like a fun like bar shape. I think it might be dead. Oh, there it goes. It's fine. It does have micro USB though, so that's pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a product of its time.
Yeah. I also have my Lumia 550 I found in the drawer as well.
Oh no. Startup chimes. Startup chimes.
Yeah. It's trying.
Yeah, I know I have some Lumias floating around somewhere. David, yes, the Barbie phone is USB-C.
Yes.
Bear in mind, if it was not, they wouldn't be allowed to sell it in Europe.
That's true. Well, I don't know if it has a Europe release yet. They said I know they said UK and US, and UK is not EU. So
Okay, so
yeah.
I think it's worth noting you you pulled up the US HMD site, but
Yes.
the press release that we were looking at earlier is technically the English International site. So
Yeah.
the press release is at least internationally oriented. Now, whether or not that means that they'll release it internationally, that
Sure.
whatever. I don't know, but presumably that gives some inclination that it would be maybe an international release too. Uh, on the other side of it, the press release also very specifically says, quote, the US version of the HMD Barbie phone is coming soon. Follow our US socials for the latest updates. And there is no mention other than that about an international release. So, yeah, who knows? There's really just not much to go on. However, actually, there is another thing that kind of suggests that this would go international. It's that they have two variants of this phone. In the phone specs in the press release, it does specify that variant dual SIM and single SIM. So I'm assuming, because in the US you really do not get dual SIM phones. Technically it happens,
Yeah.
and obviously thanks to
I don't.
eSIM you can, but
Yeah.
it's really, really super rare to see actual dual SIM phones here. So
Yeah. I don't know if that's a thing in the UK either.
oh yeah, it is.
Okay.
Certainly less, or not as much as, let's say, India or or a lot of the Asian markets, but yeah, in the UK you do get a decent number of dual SIM phones. So yeah, I don't know. This it's still a garbage phone. No one should get this. Unless it's, I guess, for the memes. I guess if you really need to have that 0.3 megapixel camera, just because. That, and of course the Barbie frame that you can have attached to it. Then there you go. That is, I guess, the reason. Oh, this sounds so bad. This sounds so horrible. But hey, at least it charges on USB-C.
That's good.
You know,
Like, it has a USB-C port. It has a headphone jack. It has a micro SD card slot. This is already better than most of Apple's phones.
okay, so two thoughts. One, Diablo's suggesting it should have a fisheye, even sarcastically. I kind of love that idea. It occurs to me they also do not give any other camera specs. They only tell you what the megapixels are. They don't tell you like
they're like, camera, yes.
yeah, exactly. There's nothing about the aperture. There's nothing about the focus distance. There's nothing about.
This also important. Also has removable battery. So
Ooh.
removable battery and headphone jack and this is dunking on every single smartphone. Yeah.
It's the Barbie dream phone.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know why, but a part of me thinks that they should not have used a 3.5 millimeter jack. It should have been 2.5 millimeter jack. Make it even more petite. And of course, with a jack, absolutely nobody has.
Right. So you need the dongle.
Yes. Because can you think of any way to make this thing worse?
Yeah. Oh man, I can think of a lot of ways.
Yes.
Also,
mini USB.
As someone of the other gender, I have to ask, where's the Ken phone?
Ooh.
Is there a Ken phone?
I
could potentially be sold on such a phone. I'm not so much into Barbie.
You know, I feel like this is, if it was not a licensing nightmare, this would be a great moment to just play I'm Just Kin.
Yeah, that's what I hope that plays when you turn on the phone.
You know what? That's actually a brilliant idea. Well,
Again, we should be working at either Apple or HMD. We have so many good ideas, but no one will listen.
I like how we should either work at Apple, one of the hardest to get into places, or HMD, a place that sounds like a punishment. There's no in between.
HMD, where, yeah, you have to move to Sweden first or whatever. I don't know where they are. One of the Nordic countries.
Oh boy.
One of those.
You know, it's probably good we don't have a lot of listeners.
Oh, they're
getting mad at us.
They are Finland. They are Finland. I was right. Yeah.
Release a Samsung Note 7 Oppenheimer edition.
That's pretty good.
You win, sir. You win. And my God, if Samsung, just think, Samsung, seriously, not even kidding, do it. Do it. It re-released the fan edition, but as the Oppenheimer edition, give it a modern Android version. And oh my God. And of course, when you get it, the background is like a nuclear bomb going off. Win.
Yeah.
Pure win. 100,000% win. You would have so many people buying it just for the memes.
This is the secret to selling your garbage phone, is you either give it Barbie branding or Oppenheimer branding. Several years after those movies came out. That's the secret.
Oh, how... Okay, what if an unintentional Barbenheimer actually comes out of this H&D phone? People get it, and then it turns out that the batteries start exploding. That'd
be pretty good.
That you couldn't.
Although, unlike with Samsung's incident, you could replace the battery.
Yes. Assuming it doesn't explode inside
wouldn't be
the
quite
phone
as funny.
And, you know, destroy the phone and probably your butt cheek in the process. Oh my God. The memes, there's no way we possibly should have talked about this phone this long, but it's honestly too funny.
Yeah.
This is the theme of the show. I'm convinced. We talk about the stupid thing for a really long time, and the actual news is like the 3-minute item. Oh, so should we call it? Before we go insane.
I'm out.
All right. Well, so with that, thank you all for coming by, hanging out, being part of the conversation, hanging out in the chat room. I personally will be back this weekend for some Fall Guys, hopefully some Overwatch. We'll see. The last weekend pretty much got consumed with Fall Guys. And of course next week we'll be back with some RambleCast, and let's see, there's no events coming up right before next week that I remember. So yeah, we'll be just preceding that Apple event, just a little.
Well, there's IFA's next week, but I think it's like later next week. I don't know.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Or is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, IFA does not sit in my mental calendar anymore.
I know it's approaching because I'm getting an uptick in embargoes I have to read. So that's how my day was today. Just a lot of reading.
Pure punishment.
And editing.
Tortured Corbin.
Yeah.
Tortured
Corbin.
So yeah, anyway, we'll come up with topics. They might be stupid again, because that's sometimes how we roll, but we will have topics to talk about and hopefully entertain. As usual, for those who'd like to support the channel, there are links down below to Cash App, Streamlabs, and Patreon. Of course, huge thanks to Carson, Diablo, Austin, and David, and Kirby Mermaid. Almost screwed that up. Because y'all are awesome and have been supporting the channel like the rock stars you are. And of course, Corbin, is there anything you'd like to plug, talk about, or pitch? Say spacebar.
Yes, spacebar.news, and also I did release a update for my Share to Mastodon browser extension. So I'll put it in the YouTube chat. This is my extension where you can do a keyboard shortcut or click a button in the toolbar or click the right click menu to share whatever you have open to your Mastodon server. I released an update, fixes some bugs. If you have a lot of servers saved, and it's a newer version of, so the latest version of Mastodon that isn't really on any servers yet except the main one, has a better way for me to get the icon for the server. So now the list of servers, when you go to post something, has like really nice high-res icons if it's a newer server, and if not, it'll try to do fallbacks. That's kind of nice. And that's on Chrome and Firefox and Edge and all the other browsers that install from Chrome store. So
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on like Blue Sky to let me do this. Blue Sky doesn't have like a share link format yet, like Twitter and Tumblr and Mastodon have. Hoping they do that eventually, because I'm also using Blue Sky a
lot. Corbin, the Jack Dorsey fan.
You know, he's not there anymore. He was there for a while, yes, but he's gone now. He's on his other weird social media. I forget what it's called.
I'm not aware of this, but I'm going to jokingly say he's back to Twitter.
Well, I think he is also. I think he's posted.
Oh, can anyone be anti-based? Yes,
yeah,
can be. But okay. Anyway, so enough of this before we anger another billionaire. On that note, come at me, Zuck. Come on, do it. Anyway, so thank you all for coming by, hanging out, and we'll catch you in the next one. Good night, everybody.
Bye.